focus going on. Okay, so my name is Elisa Howard. I was asked by the lovely Imogen to come and give a talk, and a lot of people always say to me, oh, your story's really inspiring, but for me, it's just my truth, it's just my life. So I'm really just going to talk to you today about a young girl who grew up on a council estate, like I'm sure some of you did, dropped out of college, left school, with barely any GCSEs, dropped out of college after her first year, went back to university as a mature student and dropped out of university again. So as you can see, even though I'm here at the university, further education really wasn't for me. But what I did go on to do was some incredible things in my life, and I really want to just share that journey with you today. So, one single moment in time has the ability to change your life forever. Now, that moment can be a positive moment or it could be a negative moment, but the decision on how you use that moment really lies with you. For me, that moment came in 2015 when I suddenly lost my husband of 4 years to a very sudden asthma attack. I kissed him goodbye in the morning. I never saw him again. He left a 5-year-old son that we had at the time. I was at the height of what I thought at that moment was my professional career. I had been promoted earlier that year to become the first I won't say female, I'll say black, because I was the first male or female black vice president to run a sales and delivery function for a company called Tata Technologies. They are a global engineering and design company with 7,000 employees globally, and it was an incredible achievement for me. I'd worked very hard throughout my 30s to achieve the goal, and I was ready to just take the world on. Next step for me was going to be the COO of North America and then, President of the United States or something like that. But it wasn't meant to be. God had a different plan. I believe in God. People believe in Buddha, in Allah, in the universe, and some people don't believe anything at all. But one thing I believe in, to the very core of my being, is hope. So, hope for me, or as the good old Wikipedia version says, it's very unemotional, but hope is an optimistic state of mind that is based on an expectation of positive outcomes with respect to events and circumstances in one's life or the world at large. Really, really great when you read it from the font of all knowledge, which is Wikipedia. But I have a really, really nice story from Greek mythology, where Zeus and Prometheus got into a bit of a battle with one another. Prometheus decided that he was going to steal some fire from Zeus and take it and give it to humankind as a gift. Zeus was furious, absolutely furious. And so what he decided to do was to punish Prometheus. He bound Prometheus up, and what he decided to then do as a punishment to all of humankind was to just put all of these awful spirits of evil and greed and lust and envy and just all of the horrible negative spirits into one box, unbeknown to the opener of that box. And so off on trottles Pandora. She doesn't know what's in the box, bless her. She's just a curious woman, as we are. The box there, let me have a look, let me see what's inside. And unfortunately, what happens is Pandora opens the box and out flies all these negative spirits that just wage war on the world. But what Pandora didn't know before she closed that box quite tightly, because she didn't want any more spirits coming out, was there was another spirit, and that spirit was called Elpis. And Elpis was the spirit of hope. So in and amongst all of that rage and negativity and just anger that Zeus had for Prometheus, he still put in there this spirit of hope right at the bottom of the box. And so for me, when I think about what hope is, and when I'm inspired by hope, I think to myself, you know what? It's one of those things that is inside all of us. Hope isn't something that is or that was or is now. It's something that's constant, it's something that's ever changing, and it's something that sits inside all of us. As Zoe said earlier on, you know, the ability to be able to drive yourself forward and be inspired to do more and to do better comes from somewhere. And for me, that place and that thing is hope. I cannot pronounce your name, so I'm not even going to. I'll put it out there because we're going to talk about that. As we said, he talked about hope, and when he got dropped here, nowhere to go, didn't know what he was going to do, he drew on hope that things were going to get better. So there is a really beautiful poem, and I'm going to read it for you. I'm going to say it verbatim because it's a beautiful poem about hope, and it really talks about what I believe hope is and how it resonates with me. And it says that hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abase the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it all, I've heard it in the chilliest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me. So for me, hope is like this little bird that's perched right in your soul, just like Elpis was in that box. And in amongst all of the horrible noises and sounds and, you know, negativity that you feel within your life, and things that are going on, there's still this bird and there's still this spirit inside you called hope that can drive you on to do some incredible things. And I want to share with you some of the incredible things that I've been able to do just because of hope. You know, as I said before, came out of school with nothing and rose to a career where I've been able to travel to some amazing places. I've worked in Southeast Asia, I've worked in all throughout Europe, I've worked in North America, in India, in Africa. I came out of school with nothing. Hope gave me the determination to drive myself forward and then become the first female vice president, or the first black vice president of a sales and delivery function for a global organisation. I went on to do some incredible things in that role. Even whilst I was working, there's some incredible things in that role, and one was I helped work with the Detroit Lions NFL team, and we created a STEM youth literacy program for underprivileged children. We used sports and literacy to encourage them to really focus on science, technology, engineering and mathematics. It was one of the most successful projects that we'd run as an organisation throughout the world. Somebody told me I couldn't climb a mountain because I was a black woman. They couldn't climb mountains, black people don't climb mountains. So I thought, no, you're right, I won't climb one, I'll climb three. And so I've climbed and summited 3 mountains in the Rockies in Denver, Colorado. All of them proved challenging, but again, hope gave me the ability to say, do you know what, I can do whatever it is that I put my mind to. Hope gave me the ability to leave a perfectly good job to the detriment to the very confused nature of my parents who are in the crowd tonight. I left a 6-figure salary job, a very comfortable lifestyle, to set up my own management consultancy, wanting to help organisations to do what Imogen does here for you, which is to create environments that are more equal, diverse and inclusive. It's part of an organisation's DNA, not just what they talk about, and not just them paying lip service, but about them really saying that we want to drive inclusivity and create an environment where everybody can thrive, not just black people, but people from all walks of life, all disabilities. So that's what I spend my time doing in my day job. In the evening, I spend my time writing blogs and podcasts to empower women to live their dreams, to take the hope that they have that's stored so far deep down inside them that they may have forgotten about it because of the roles and the many hats that we have to wear as women. Sorry guys, I know that you do a lot, but unless you walk a day in a mother, a daughter, a sister, a wife's shoes, then boy, yeah, you haven't really done a day's work. So for me, it's about taking my voice and my platform to be able to help empower other women to stand up boldly and say, do you know what? I can do the things that I've put off for a really long time. That business that I thought that I wanted but didn't really have the time to do. That hobby that I just can't get to. That fear that's telling me I'm not good enough. That's what I spend my time doing in the evenings. my family and my relationships with my family haven't always been, oh, what's happened here? It's gone. Oh, there we go, there we are. My relationships with my family haven't been great. I had a very troubled childhood, not because I came from a deprived background. I came from a very loving family, but I just couldn't get over the divorce of my parents when I was 5. I thought it was my fault. I blamed myself for many years, and I went through my whole teenage life really just playing this role of angry, which then led me on to come out of school with no GCSEs. But my relationships were in turmoil with my family, and what Hope has done for me has been able to reignite and repair those toxic relationships. And on my 40th birthday, I was able to spend it with all my parents. I get a bit emotional when I see this picture because on this side here you've got my father, my biological father in the middle, my stepfather, and I only call him that just to explain it because every part of who I am is because of him. My mother to the very far end and my stepmother in the middle. We spent the entire day together. Now, that in itself, if you knew our story as a family, means that Hope is alive and well. In High Wycombe, where we're from, I lost my husband, as you know, didn't think that I would ever be able to find anybody that would love me and take me on with a child. I went through a really long period of depression. 2 years I smiled inside to everybody in my family, to everybody in my friend circle, that everything was okay, I was good, I can still take on the world, when really inside I went through a severe depression, severe anxiety about being a single mother. How in God's name am I supposed to bring up this boy by myself? Am I ever going to find someone to love me again? Am I ever going to be able to love somebody again? And popped a man that I met 20 years ago. We had a 4-week romance and ended up 20 years later living 5 minutes down the road from each other. We're now engaged, we're going to get married next November.
That's what's up.
Only he behaves himself. Let's hope so. One of the most important things is it's inspired hope.
Who's that handsome boy?
Jacob, he's now 9. Jacob is one of the most phenomenal human beings on this planet to me. And Hope has been able to give him a better future, a better mother to be able to raise him, a better environment that isn't filled with regret and turmoil and doubt and sadness because of something that happened 4 years ago. It's now about a future that he has. It's now about the opportunities that he's going to go on and do, and the person that he's going to become. And he inspires me every single day. Zoe, she stole my final ending for you. Well, there's 2 parts of this. I've got a video that I want to play afterwards, and I'm going to end with that. But Zoe talked a little bit earlier on about affirmations. Now, I'm not going to make you stand up and do it. I think we're all tapped out with that. But one of the things that I subscribe to 100%, and I'd encourage each of you to do the same, which is exactly what Zoe said this morning, you know, from your chest, from your soul, from that place in your heart where hope truly still lives, regardless of what's going on around you, there is a place there. And in the morning, get up. In the afternoon, look in the mirror. Wherever you are, stand up and arise and say, I'm grateful. One of the things for me that served me well is an attitude of gratitude. I'm grateful for my experiences, the negative ones and the positive ones, because they've brought me to right here, being able to speak to you today. So always be grateful for where you are. Be hopeful. So I'm hopeful about the future. Something that maybe 2 years ago I couldn't have stood here honestly and said to you because of the pain that was in my heart and the mental state that I was in. But hope brought me through. So be hopeful and continue to be hopeful, but say that to yourself. And be inspired. Say, I am inspired. Inspire yourself to inspire other people. That's what we're really here to do in this world. Yeah, it's great having lots of money. I'm not telling you I don't miss my company car. I'm not going to lie and say I don't miss being able to go out and buy a bunch of shoes just because it's today. But what gives me and fills me with far more warmth and joy is to be able to stand here and just speak my truth and tell my story, so that if one of you leave here today and think, do you know what, if she can do it, if Zoe can do it, if Abby can do it, then so can I. So I'm going to leave you with a video of two of my most famous black women. Maya Angelou, she needs no introduction. She needs no introduction. She wrote a poem that has, again, been one of those poems that I go back to on many occasions, and it's called I Rise. The words in that, if you haven't read it before and you're maybe going through something at the moment, or you just need a bit of a pep in your step, then go and read that poem. If you can, find a video footage of her saying it, because I would invite anybody to say after reading that poem that they wouldn't get up and think, do you know what, today is my day. And then you can beat your chest like Zoe and say, I am amazing. And then it's being told by Serena Williams, who for me, again, another one of my heroes, the amount of adversity that woman has had to overcome, the amount of setbacks, the amount of discrimination in the game of tennis, being one of, if not the best tennis player of all time, bar men. You know, she has, in my mind, epitomated what strong black women, and really what strong women can go on to do time and time and time again. And as Serena, she's not finished yet, and neither am I. I've got a lot of things still to do on my journey, but I'm going to leave you with the poem, and I'm just going to leave you with this. Please, whatever it is that you're going through in your life, wherever it is that you've come from, whatever hurdles, turmoils, ups, downs, whatever it may be, know that as Elpis is in all of us, hope is still inside your heart, and you can do all things as long as you believe.
You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I rise. Just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides. Just like hope springing high, still, I rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes? Shoulders falling down like teardrops, weaned by my soulful cries. Out of the huts of history's shame I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of a slave. I rise. I rise.